Hi everyone, welcome to the podcast. I'm Dan Ashendorf and today I've got something really interesting for you. So I recently started to get into boxing. I love that sport. I know it's a bit brutal, but it's got real similarities with life and specifically business, because you got these two people get in the ring and oftentimes there is nothing between them. Their abilities are very similar and they have to do whatever it takes within the confines of the rules, of course, to win over their opponents. Now, I find that to be a little bit similar in business, not the fact that we have to win over someone else, but the fact that we have to draw deep into our resources and do whatever we can to beat the competition and circumstances and everything else that's going to be thrown at us. But specifically, what I wanted to talk to you about today is something that I heard commentators talk about repeatedly, and that's the fact, and when I say commentators, I'm talking about the ringside commentators, the ones who've got lots of experience. They're seasoned boxers themselves, and the common thread that I keep hearing is the fact that it's the person who wants it more is going to be the one winning. So just imagine how powerful this is. Basically, you got two people get in the ring, and oftentimes it's the one with the lesser talent that would win because he wanted to win more. So just imagine how empowering this is. The fact that basically it's your will that determines how far you're going to go. I found that to be quite empowering, and also that made me think about you guys. And I have a question for you, and that is, how much do you want to succeed? If you had to mark yourself between 1 and 10, your level of desire to succeed, how would you rank yourself? Because that is what's going to be determining how far you're going to go, because you are going to have problems, just like that guy in the ring pitted against someone else who is ultimately a problem. It's an obstacle between that person and winning the fight, and whoever wants it more, so you need to have a very strong level of desire to get to where you want to get. So my question is, how much do you want to get to where you want to get? Because as we've seen in sports, and I'm actually just thinking aloud here, I'm wondering if this is something that's pretty much universally true, i.e. not just for boxing, it probably is, and that's the fact that it's the person who wants it the most is the one who's going to get the farthest. So, how much do you want it? And then we move on to other things. So if we really want it, what we need to be doing is persevering with it. And we need to be consistent. And we need to be making small incremental gains. And possibly there is a podcast episode about each of these. But when I'm thinking of business, that's what springs to mind. I think these are the things that we need to have in order to beat circumstances, which is like having that person against us standing there in the ring. And something that I did, and I think it's kind of easy to have desires and wants, and to say that I want to have financial freedom, I want to do this, that or the other. But I think it's more important to actually break it down into components and think about what is it that we could be working on. So breaking down that overall desire, and then just like the boxer, just working on our weaknesses, because that's what they do. Now, for me, for example, I'm going to give you an example here. I mean, I have a lot of faults, just like any of you or anyone else possibly would have. But for me, something I started to work on in the last few months was a specific part of my emotional intelligence, and that's the fact that I used to get a little bit angry when I was stressed. So that used to translate itself to anger, which is really bad in a business like internet marketing, which is very social. It's a very social business because you have to network, you have to collaborate, you have to serve. So when you have that, that's a problem. And I worked on it. I found ways to channel that energy into positive, resourceful, and ultimately beneficial, value-led energy that would actually be a positive thing rather than a negative thing. So for me, I know that I want to win, but what I did was I actually took it a step further, and I found ways to channel. If I had any negative energy, I would channel it into something positive. So my question to you is, what do you need to work on? What incremental gains can you make in order to really make that desire a reality? So you need to want it much and lots, and that's good and well. But what else? What additional steps can we take? What areas do we actually need to work on? Little incremental areas. Maybe we can fix them, maybe once a week, maybe once a day. Just imagine how powerful we would be if we got into that ring and we fixed all the problems that we've had. So if our left hook wasn't powerful enough, if we just worked on that, just imagine. And then if the uppercut wasn't as powerful, as fast as it could be, and we just worked on that. This is what these guys do. They have people look at their game and advise them on exactly what the problems are, and that's what we need to do. So we need to want it, and then we need to get to work on exactly the little problems that we have, that anyone has, any human being has, because each of us is going to have his own biases, each of us is going to have his own talents and issues that have possibly come from the past. This could be, like in the case of a boxer, that could be something physical that they do wrong, or in our case it could be something mental, or maybe some habits that we have that don't push us in the direction that we want to go, in the direction of our desire. So really two things is, first of all, how much do you want it? And secondly, are you actually working every day towards that goal? Small incremental gains. Have you taken the time to actually find out what it is that's holding you back? Because it's all good and well to want something, but unless you actually get to work and make it happen, you're not going to go very far. Thanks very much for listening. Dan Ashendorf. Be safe. All the best now. Take care. Bye-bye.